Hey guys, this is Janine, and the first topic I wanted to cover was beta reading. I've had a couple people ask me, what is beta reading? How does that process go? What's the benefit of doing it? And while it can be approached from a writer's side as well as a reader's side, this morning we're going to focus on looking at beta reading from the perspective of the writer. So, all of you writers, just take some notes. I've got some few key points for you, as well as some traps you want to avoid. First and foremost, for your beta reading, you can either do it as you go, which is like, the first, not the first paragraph, but like once you have a solid chapter, 5 or 6 pages, you can have somebody look at that to see if it's worth pushing forward. It's more of a beta read, kind of like a query, just to kind of get a pulse for your story, see how it fits. Now, with that, you have to be careful, because if you ask someone to read it and say whether or not it's worth pushing forward, if they don't like that genre, then it maybe someone say, no, don't write any more of this because they don't like that genre. Or they could take it and kind of shift it into something that they would be more interested in, not because it adds value to the story, but because it appeals to them more as a reader. So careful when you send out that it's not complete yet, queries to folks to read for you, that you're getting people who like your genre, who like that style of writing. So, maybe say, I write like so-and-so, or I write, in such and such a style of books, and see if they like that. If they don't like that, then they probably will not like your book no matter what it says. So start there. Find someone who likes your genre. Find somebody who reads, that style of reading, who have, familiar taste in writers. And then you'll get a better fit as from a reader in terms of the actual content of the story, not so much as a type of story or the format of the story. So for me personally, I like to wait till I'm completely done, because as I'm writing, there are different turns and twists I want to put in there. And then there are things that I may think sounds really good the first day, but then when I go back, I don't like it as much. So I can go back and change it and not confuse the beta readers who's getting a chapter like this has nothing to do with what you sent me before. You know what I'm saying? So in order to keep it concise, I like to completely finish the story. This is me personally, before I send it over to beta readers. And then secondly, when I choose my beta readers, you have your friends and family, and you have the absolute strangers. I find, and others have, shared this same sentiment, that when you ask your friends and family to beta read for you, they'll either sugarcoat it, oh yes, it's great, you did a phenomenal job, you read a lot of money. They'll, oh, I haven't gotten to it yet because I've been at work, or my kid is sick, or my car broke down. You should turn it into something that's completely different than where you started, but this is what I like to read, so this is what you should do because this is a good book. Where you're going with this isn't really a good book, but over here is where the good books are. So you have those types of feedback that you're more likely to get from friends and family, because they're doing the mindsets are doing something for you to your benefit. They want what's best for you. And they're not really looking at the story, they're looking at the person who wrote the story. So you have to kind of filter through those comments and situations to see if what they're saying or what you're giving as feedback actually is connected to the story itself, or more for, them trying to do what's best for you as a writer, in comparison to what their reading preferences are. The next thing, if you're going to look for someone who is not connected to you in any other way, there may be a fee attached. Look at the size of your piece. Is it 30,000 words, 50,000 words, 100,000 words? Don't say it's 10 pages, because 10 pages in Times New Roman, double spaced, is not the same as 10 pages of like Arial thin, single space. Those are two completely different, sets of information as far as the volume of it. So yes, it's on the same number of pieces of paper, but is it 10 pages front and back? Is it double space, triple space? Did you use like 12-point font, 14-point font? All those things affect the page number. So you want to look at the word count. How many words do you have from once upon a time to and then you left happily ever after? If it, However it starts from beginning to end, the number of words is what you want to use when you're pricing your beta readers. And you want someone who is fair, who says, okay, for this and under, this is what I charge, for this and more, or this is my bracket for, however many words are in that bracket. Look at someone who doesn't have a blank, or some people will say, you know what, it's like 0.05 cents per word. Those are things you need to consider, because while that may sound like the most universal pricing, as your story grows in word count, so does the cost to have it read. So if someone says, oh yes, they're really affordable, they're really great, they give good feedback, this is what I paid, that price is based on the number of words. So look at those things, do your math, agree to the price before you send your work, agree to the timeline. And give them a chance to look and say, okay, you know what, this is actually going to take me X amount of days, weeks, months. And agree to that. Agree to the type of feedback you're looking for. If you want only stuff on the plot, if you're focusing on maybe your character development, your backstory, if you want to focus on the entirety of the story, to include the spell checking and the grammar, which typically that's reserved for your edits. But if someone's willing to do that, make sure that the fee includes that service as well. See if they're going to give you like a general outline. See if they're going to do a line by line. Like, see what type of beta reading they're going to give you back for your money and when you're going to get it back. Agree on the payment method and timeline. If it's going to be half before, half after, all up front. Also, you know what I forgot to mention, before you send your story to a beta reader, actually once you've accomplished this is my story, this is my idea, these are my characters, and I'm at page like 1 or maybe the first 100 words, do the poor man's copyright. Real easy, simple, it's not that hard to do. Just type it up, write it up, print it out, whatever, stick it in an envelope, mail it to yourself, put it under a rock or in your safe or your dresser or wherever you put things that are important, your birth certificate, put it there. Keep it. Do not open it. You know what it is because you put it in there. Just keep it safe. That's your poor man's copyright, and that counts at this stage of the game. Now, once everything is done and you're, ready to start publishing and start querying, then you want to get the official copyright from the U.S. government. For right now, keep that. A poor man's copyright is sufficient. Do it. Protect yourself. Create your creativity. Protect, if this is a life story, if this is a historical piece, whatever it is, you did it, so protect it. You would, especially if you're working with other writers. Oh, that's another thing. Okay, the next category of beta readers are other writers. Sometimes writers will say, instead of asking for an actual beta reader, they'll ask for a writing partner or a writing group or a critique group where, we just do kind of a round robin. I'll read your stuff and give you my response. You read my stuff and give me your response. We're not paying for it. We're just kind of working together, to improve each other. Those are great, especially if you're looking at the first round because you're getting another writer's perspective who's in your genre. But that's another reason why you want to have that copyright, because you don't want something from your piece to kind of turn up when you guys do that second swap. That's happened to me where I sent something over and it was great. I gave my reviews, they gave their reviews. We swapped, made whatever corrections, changes, updates to the story. We swapped again and I was like, wait a minute, this looks a little familiar, boo. So keep your eye out for those things. You may not want to continue in those relationships if you consistently see, because some things are just like common, the sun must rise, it must set. So if there's a sunrise and there's a sunset, that's kind of how every day works. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. And if they describe it the same or particularly similar, or if there's like a unique phrase that you've never heard them use in either casual conversation for someone you know, or in their writing correspondence for someone you don't know, then that may be a little tickler to say, you know what, maybe some of my things are starting to filter into their work, and that's not okay. So set those ground rules. Keep an eye out for, things popping up in ways that they should not. But understand, of course, that the sun will rise and set every day. Like, that's how days work. There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. That's how it works. But, keep the, in mind the verbiage, the sequence, the character names, the location names, all those things. Like, unless you're working on something that feeds into each other, it's part of the same universe, you kind of want to make sure that what they're doing is not the same as what you're doing. And be mindful of when you do your own edits and corrections that you take their suggestions, but not infiltrate their influence, into the body of your work. Just take the general idea of it. Or, of course, if it's something's like blatantly spelled wrong, fix it, but do it in such a way so that you're not plagiarizing their work. We're reached the 10-minute mark, so we're going to cut this one short. There's a few more things I would like to say, but that'd be for part 2. And then, of course, we're going to approach this from the beta reader perspective, because like I said, there is a difference when you're on that other side of the beta reading fence. Thank you guys for your time. Please like, comment, and subscribe. That way you'll know all the new fun things that are coming on with this whole writer improvement or audience improvement series that we're doing, as well as the other things that are going on with Collective Works as a whole. We hope you are having a great day, and we will talk to you later. Bye, guys.